What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night. One final sleep, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale will have already come and gone, which is just maddening to think about. It's the Fandom Empire Show. Tonight's topics. We're going to dive headfirst into this Halloween, Universal, Paramount, Nightmare on Elm Street shit, because there's so many rumors out there right now, and instead of, predicting what could happen, let's have some fun speculating on what they might do. We also have some wrestling talk later on in the show, some Game of Thrones and Star Wars off the top, and then we'll follow it up with Halloween. So Halloween's probably about half an hour away or so. Without further ado, though, the hosts of the show. First up, he is the host of the Rick and Morty fan show, which I think we might see not too far down the road from now. He is also one of the co-hosts of the House of the Empire show, which recorded its first episode last night. Look at that shameless self-plugs going on right now. Not even the end of the show. It's Kieran. What's going on, man?
I mean, you can plug your own show on your own network, on your own...
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
how shameful that is.
That might offend some people.
Yeah. I don't know, I guess.
Halloween, what?
Like, subscribe, give us money for Patreon. I don't give a shit. Some interesting news on the Rick and Morty front. They announced that the season's going to come this year. They just don't know when. Like 2022. They just don't know when.
Would they be ballsy enough to just be like, all right, we already did this as one episode, so New Year's Eve, here's the first episode of the new season.
And the sky's the limit for Rick and Morty. They could, honestly, who knows? They could release it only in one small town, and who knows? They could do whatever the fuck they want. It's crazy, the amount of weird shit that they do. Anyways, so that just, I saw that, and I was like, oh, cool, and I did some research, and it was like, so still don't know when we're going to do Rick and Morty fan show, I guess. I don't know. What?
I'm surprised Solid Saturn hasn't spammed the chat with, where's the poster yet? Oh, he has. Never mind. Oh. He has.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that happened.
Know that. I literally hadn't pulled up the chat yet.
Anyways, yeah. House of the Empire, super fun to do yesterday. That was great. Can't wait to see what it looks like with all the extra bells and whistles. And, today was a pretty decent day, except my fantasy baseball team's shit in the bed right now. But, whatever. I'm in second place.
Also joining us, he is one of the co-hosts here of the Fandom Empire Show. He hates all Star Wars. He isn't going to watch the finale to Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's just a real mean SOB. I'm kidding. He has a Yoda lamp right there. Come on. Tommy B, what's going on, man? What happened to the Halloween Ends Halloween Ends poster? Yeah, Tommy actually has it. That's where it is. Halloween Kills poster.
Which behind me, my fat head is just blocking it.
Mine is, it's hard because I don't have proper lighting down here yet, but right there, somewhere. Yeah, that one. That one.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm hanging in there. Life is life. Things are busy. Never stop moving. But all we can do is keep going, right? Just hang in there.
I'm driving to Toronto basically daily, multiple times a day for the next 2.5 months. I fucking hate it. So that's, yeah, I'm gonna, yeah. Let's just get to September already. Plus, when September gets here, that means we're already into Andor, and we're into House of the Dragon, and we'll see what happens with the Lord of the Rings thing. Maybe it'll surprise everybody. I know the hype for it's kind of died down a bit, but we got a lot to talk about tonight. Why don't we start off with House of the Empire? So yesterday we recorded our first. We had done a prior recording that we did not keep due to audio issues, and last night Kieran, myself, and Zach all sat down, and Zach from the IPC podcast, for those of you that don't know, We all sat down and recorded the first episode of House of the Empire, and it was basically just 80 minutes of a deep dive into Game of Thrones and the Jon Snow show news, which we'll talk about here in a second briefly. But it was a blast, and Zach and I had been collaborating on an intro for that particular show for the last week or so, and we came up with something, and we're going to play it, so we hope you enjoy it. And if you don't like Game of Thrones, then maybe you can appreciate the quality, or maybe you'll just say it's shit, because we already know Tommy B's going to say it's shit. Terrence probably hates it too, wherever the fuck that guy is. Anyways, enjoy House of the Empire intro.
It's shit.
Legacy
Yeah, right there.
is what you pass down to your children and to your children's children. It's what remains of you when you're gone. Many hope to create it. Many more hope to live up to it. Very few ever succeed. The legacy of this show hopes to be about what Westeros means to us, and what we hope it may mean to a new generation of fans, and the generation after that. Boasting discussions that will endure, passions that will rise, debates that will make the small council jealous. With a combined 44 years of experience behind a microphone, the hosts and guest hosts of this show are dedicated to the fans' experience in reviewing anything from Westeros, Essos, and beyond. This group is not the house of a lion, a direwolf, or even a dragon. This is a fraternity, a lineage, a house that endures beyond sigils, and aims to leave a legacy no other podcast has. So it's time to call the Banos, for this is the House of the Empire.
Yeah, so we did that. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought that the episode came across very well. And like, there's this one part during the episode, I was listening to it today. Actually, it's honestly my favorite piece of Game of Thrones material we've ever recorded on any of our outlets we've had in the past. Kieran goes on this like 5-minute rant at some point about a character that's not on his list that I won't spoil. But it's hilarious because the description he gives for the character not on the list is probably better than our descriptions of our characters on our lists. So it was a really cool part in the episode, and controversial too. So be on the lookout for that. And hopefully it'll be out Monday. That's my goal. Get it out Monday. So if not, then we couldn't do it next Tuesday or Wednesday. So if it's not Monday, it'll be next
Yes,
Tuesday.
you just go fuck yourself.
Yes, that.
Yes.
For those of you that are
Where did you get the gentleman with the very deep voice to do the voice?
We'll be talking about the Jon Snow show on the episode when it's already out.
Yeah. That was Zach Arnold. So
What?
shocker, right? Anyways, let's touch on this really quickly here, guys, before we move on to Star Wars. By the way, the show schedule goes as followed: Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel like I'm forgetting something in there, and then wrestling. So, Jon
Kenobi?
Kenobi. Well, no, I said that. Star Wars is next.
Oh.
Yeah. Jesus.
Sorry.
Is Kenobi not classified as Star Wars anymore?
No, it's fucking better than the other shit.
It's not by Star Wars.
Oh, who the fuck was that? That was weird. Anyways, Jon Snow, guys, he's getting his. We think it's his own show, but I got to tell you, since Hollywood Reporter put this article out, it sounds more and more like it's just meant to be a sequel series to Game of Thrones that will have him as the primary protagonist. So, anybody against this. I'm not. I like it. I think it'd be great. I'm sure Kit Harington wants to do it again because why wouldn't you want to make those big bucks? I'm excited for it, but I'm not going to get too excited because, as we talked about last night, HBO already scrapped an $80 million pilot from Game of Thrones and the George R. R. Martin crew. So until it gets a series order, I will not hold my breath. But Kieran, your thoughts quickly on Jon Snow returning, seemingly.
Well, I mean, spoiler, he was really high on my list when you watch that episode.
No.
Yeah, not much of a spoiler. Very compelling character. I like the actor. And I said, this actor, Kit Harington, really wants to be Jon Snow again, really was talking about how much he was envious about, them going to film some Game of Thrones without him, and, how, he felt kind of, I guess, jealous about it, and, really wanted to be the character again. And I think the fact that an actor really strives and really carries that character, in himself, is going to compel the show to be good, I think. I mean, if it's terrible writing, terrible crew, terrible whatever, which is almost certainly not going to happen in an HBO show. We already heard they're not going to let shit go if it's not good. So I think if it happens, it'll be good.
But what if it's just all shit?
Oh my God.
Then they won't. They'll scrap an $80 million pilot. So that's what I'm saying.
Shit.
They're not shit like that Harry
It
Potter
looks like
garbage that you like.
Tommy, your thoughts on the possibility of Jon Snow returning? Seems to have some weight to it.
I talked about this in another stream. Honestly,
Wait, no, you didn't. When did you talk about this in another stream?
was it just a conversation?
Are you cheating on us?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the first time that's
there
not the Empire.
There's a Tommy B podcast we don't know about?
Didn't we do something on
Did you talk about this on OnlyFans?
Saturday?
This is what you do with your OnlyFans, don't you? The truth is out.
You think I have time for any of that?
This explains the new home. This explains
I had to run away.
He's making millions on OnlyFans. You son of a bitch.
He dresses up like Jon Snow and gives himself a little marker beard, but he's got the cape. He's got the cape and no shirt, and he just talks to people about Jon Snow. That's his OnlyFans. Tommy B, OnlyFans, Jon Snow.
That's interesting. Legitimately, did we not have this discussion in our stream?
No, I don't believe so.
Saturday? Didn't we come live for something? Halloween related, the franchise news and all that?
Maybe, but I don't think we spent any time on Game of Thrones. Maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, so Jon Snow is the character at the end of Game of Thrones that I would not have been surprised if we never heard from ever again. Because although his life would be, difficult north of the wall, it'd be tough. It'd be quiet in comparison, right? The politics would not be there that he'd be dealing with otherwise. On the other hand, Sansa now is the regent of the North Queen, whatever she would be. I forget her title. There'd be more politics there, but you kind of have a feeling, hey, maybe things will be a little peaceful for her. Maybe. Arya is the one we're led to believe she's going to have the most adventure. And we've discussed Macy Williams being around different Game of Thrones media for different reasons and such. So as things stand for Jon Snow, the future of seeing him on screen again, it's unexpected, but it is certainly welcome because he was my favorite character of Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure you may remember, I ended up getting a hold of the first 7 seasons. You may have asked me after the first episode or two, who's my favorite character, who I'm most interested in, who I'm most invested in, and I said Jon Snow.
Let's talk illegal stuff for a second. Were you able to get? Was I the one that gave you the codes for the first 7 seasons and it actually worked, or no?
Yeah, but that wasn't illegal.
Someone
bought them.
Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was legal.
But the weird thing I thought about, like, that's the only time that's ever worked. Like, I've tried to give other people codes, from like just movies that I've bought and from the States, and it never.
Full straight up disclaimer: these were 100% legit codes that came with a box set. Just he ended up passing them along to me, as a give and take type of thing. And it was great. I got to see the first 7 seasons of Game of Thrones without spending a dime, and I still have them on my Voodoo account, which is great.
I want to bring up Adrian for a second. We're going to shift gears here just for a split second. Adrian left this really cool comment on. Sorry, Adrian, I've not had time to reply. I seen it on my lunch break today, very briefly. Adriano, pardon me. I'm probably saying that wrong. He said, "Hi from Brazil, my friend. First, I really like your channel, and I have a theory. The 7 minutes of Halloween 2018 deliver the ends. The moment Aaron shows the mask, Michael reacts. The patients around him react to the mask. One of them even covers his ears. Another left with fear, trying to break the chains that hold him to the ground, and the dog reacts to the mask too. I recommend you rewatch these first few minutes of Halloween 2018. It could be something that plays into Halloween Ends, or maybe it's just a trip in my head." First of all, that was a really, really cool comment to leave, man. It wasn't like 2 sentences. It was detailed. We appreciate you taking the time to leave that. So I guess we'll jump ahead to Halloween for a split second, guys, and then we'll move over to Star Wars. I don't believe the mask plays into this on the level that people are going to want, but I actually really like his theory because that did happen in Halloween 2018. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that or not.
Yeah, that's.
I'm
actually,
just a little
I love
confused.
That part.
I'm not looking at the comment.
I love how that part cuts through. They do like a really hard cut and then goes straight to the music. And yeah, it's definitely awesome. I like that part. And I kind of thought of that like when I first saw 18. I thought that, but I don't think it's gonna happen now. I don't think it's as heavy as that. But like when 18 came out, I was like, oh yeah, it's all the mask. But I don't know. They didn't kind of play it up too much in the next one. So
the first thing I seen from 18, I was getting into TIFF. I was getting in a little late because the rush line was getting in late. And as I walked in and seen the massive screen it was playing on, and remember, you're sitting in this like old style, theater, and dramatic arts theater, and they, I came in just as Aaron and the other podcaster and Sartain are walking out. So like, that's literally the first thing I seen was him walking up to Michael. I had missed the opening, 90 seconds to 2 minutes or so. And like the fact that I got to sit in my seat, I took a moment because it was surreal being there and the mass amounts of security that were everywhere. And like within, a couple of minutes, that whole scene with that mask. And then, like you said, the quick cut to the intro. And I mean, the type of intro that people have been wanting at that time for 20 plus years, again, the old style intro, maybe even 30 years at that time or more. I can't remember the last time we had an intro like that. Was it Halloween 2? If it was Halloween 2, then it was almost 40 years. But anyway, like it just was such a way to get the crowd into the movie. And I know a lot of people make movies for their longevity. But there are some movies, in fact, that when they're put together, they are thinking about just the very first time you see this movie and what the response to it would be. Not everything's done the other way. So I dug it. I like the theory. I appreciate the comment. And to everybody out there, if you ever leave theories, in-depth questions like that, we will find the time to either address it on air or in the question. It just might not be possible to do it the day of, but we do appreciate it. Anyways, fellas, it's Star Wars. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll only spend about 10 minutes on this or so, but the finale's tonight in precisely on just under 6 hours time. Obi-Wan Kenobi will air. We are not doing any shows tonight, by the way. This is our preview for it. And then for whoever's available, and I do mean whoever, if you have any podcasting experience, we're going to open the door for anybody to come on at some point during our roundtable review. But we intend to do a review of the Kenobi finale tomorrow night. And then next week we will do the whole series. And then the week after we will do what could we expect from the next Kenobi project. Anyways, Kieran, you've been pretty high on this series like me. I know there's a lot of people that have not, but what's your expectation level going into tomorrow when you see it?
I would like it to wrap up in a way that kind of leaves it leading into the original trilogy. And we're going to get a big fight. I just want a big fight. Honestly, the big fight could be 15 minutes long. I mean, a 15-minute long fight would actually be terrible, but...
Yeah, I don't think you'll get that in a TBS.
But you know what I mean? Like, the things I'm looking forward to is them fighting, and then hopefully a nice ending where we see it lead in and be like, oh, yeah, like that makes total sense. It bridges the gap. That sort of, a lot of people are complaining, they're like, oh, is Luke going to see, people fighting with lightsabers? Like, that would totally mess up this and that and, things like that, I would like something that hopefully just seems like a nice seamless fit to the original trilogy, and I don't know how they're going to do that. I would like to see more of Hayden acting, believe it or not. I still don't think they haven't really done much with him, and for all the talk and hype and craziness about it, like,
you're a pretty positive Star Wars fan, even from the time I met you. I think that even I would have to say the marketing has been misled. We knew to expect this, though. We tried to tell people that, hey, be cautious on your Hayden expectations here. They have him extremely protected, but
yeah,
I admit that in terms of how much he's been a part of the marketing, like they're doing a full Q&A with just him and Deborah Chow tomorrow. It's a bit misleading.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that so far. I mean, if he's a really, really big part of this next episode and we see some acting between the two of them, I mean, it's a 6-episode series, so then I would be okay with it. I mean, he doesn't have to be the whole thing, but just like a significant acting portion. I do expect him to still be heavily guarded, and by guarded, I mean, when you're doing a scene where you're lightsaber fighting and you're just making quips between you, that's not really he didn't have to show a lot of emotion, he didn't have to whatever, it was a lot of, it's pretty guarded in the way, like it's not a heavy acting scene, and, wiggling around in the water and how much we've seen him in the suit.
I think he's going to get a chance to do what he does best, and that is, which goes against what we'd heard before. But according to Star Wars Mag, who covers a lot of Making Star Wars and Best in Bulletin stuff, I haven't been able to tune into the Making Star Wars show the last couple of days, but that apparently it is Hayden in this last episode, and I don't know if that means the full mask is getting removed or if we're going to see a callback to Rebels where part of the mask comes off. But I guarantee you that full mask is not staying intact for this episode.
Yeah, I would expect that. That's what I expect. And, I think it would be interesting to see what happens. I mean, like, obviously, I'm the big Hayden hater. I'm as bad as any Hayden hater you find on the thing, on the internet.
Maybe if he would have been given, I'm not saying this level of protection because it wouldn't have worked with how much he's in those movies, but if they would have provided him with more protection, then maybe he would have performed a bit better too. Not just the writing of Lucas, but think about it. He comes into his first movie, and it's like, oh, well, Anakin and Obi-Wan. But the truth is, they're together at the beginning, and they're together at the end, and the entire gut of the movie, they are not together. He is just with Natalie Portman, who was getting just as bad of a rap at that time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but
So
I'm not ever going to say, well, you know what, his career would have turned around or anything, because I've seen 8, 9 Hayden movies, and he's pretty terrible as an actor. But I would just like to see him. Like, I actually really liked the flashback scene. I thought it was good, and if we can get more of that with a little bit more, I mean, if there's one emotion he's really good at conveying, it's hatred. So hopefully he can, be all Sithy and hate, and I hate you and that sort of stuff he could do. So I mean, if they play towards his strengths and just show him a little bit more, I think that would be good. If they overdo it and they don't guard him, then it's probably going to be bad.
I have a theory about that, and I do not know this is happening. This has not specifically been in the spoilers, and when the spoilers do go out there, guys, most of the times it's very vague. It's bullet point stuff that is missing a lot of context, but you get an idea of what's happening. I believe that there are going to be a group of fans that despise how emotional Darth Vader, and more so, maybe not Darth Vader, but Anakin Skywalker in the suit is probably going to get in this episode. I don't know for certain that it's happening, but I totally believe that Obi-Wan is going to try to turn him back. It hasn't happened yet. Has to happen at some point, in my opinion, to line up with Return of the Jedi. And I do know one thing that's supposed to get said. We'll see if it was cut or not. And if it does get said, then he's going to go off. And I can't help but wonder if the mask is either completely off or partway, cut. Are we going to sort of hear the voice be similar to how it was in Rebels 2? Like, is it going to be like a 50-50 mix once the mask gets damaged, where it's Hayden and James Earl Jones together? They have been really accurate with lining their stuff up with video game lore and animated TV lore in these series. So I think that that's what they're going for. Like, and it's hard to hear, but Hayden's been every line Vader's been talking. Hayden and the re-speecher, just to try to it's like when you go into audio balancing, right? When you're editing stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've
one lower down.
Remember, I did the Rick and Morty fan show intro. It doesn't really sound like me. My brother did all sorts of shit to make it sound different.
It's I think if that happens, it's going to be like 50-50 Hayden, 50-50 re-speecher James Earl Jones. So we'll see how that. I think you're going to get your wish, but I still think it's going to be behind a suit. I don't know if there's any more flashbacks to come.
Did you see we got a super chat? We got to grant all the super chats.
Okay, hang on. I need to get my phone out to record this. It's hard to record. All right, man, have at it. I mean, your name is Kieran last time I checked. And
okay.
In fact...
So, everyone likes to say that, it was all George Lucas. He directed him bad. That is probably true. However, almost every other Star Wars actor in those movies has a successful career after, because they're actually good actors. Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, these guys, they have good movies. They have good movie catalogs. Some good movies, some bad movies. Hayden has almost no good movies. If you check Rotten Tomatoes, they're almost all completely rotten. None of them went everywhere. His career got canceled by Hollywood because he wasn't drawing any money. Nobody liked him. Everybody thought he was terrible when he came out, and he continued to be terrible. People like to also say that he left to have children, but he actually left 4 years before he had children. So unless he's really bad at sex as well as he is with acting, then that's also a lie. He's just terrible. He's just a bad actor, and people like to hang on to it because it's Star Wars. They watch the movies as kids. They grew up. They still think the movie's great, that happens to me too. I think that He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is a great movie, but it's not. It's terrible. I can actually be unbiased and realize that it's terrible. I just like it. That's how people feel, but they can't separate that. Hayden is actually just a terrible actor, and most of the acting in those movies is pretty bad. They're very fun, though, so... That's the problem, is he's just not actually any good, and people want to hang on to it. Also, ask someone who has never seen Star Wars if Hayden's a good actor. I guarantee you will never find anyone who says he's a good actor who does not like Star Wars.
That was the worst spent $2 super chat I have ever seen in the history of this channel. You did the exact opposite of what she asked you to do.
She said roasting, right?
No, she said boast about Hayden for 30 seconds.
Boasting? Okay, give me another 30 seconds.
All right, hang on.
So, Hayden Christensen's actually a pretty decent looking guy. He's good at... He does lightsaber stuff. He's good at that.
We're just...
He doesn't like sand, though.
I'm done. You're such a dick.
You get what you pay for. The next time, donate $20, bitch.
He starts with, well, he looks
That's
good.
that's not.
And
cool,
that's
dude.
it. He stops dead after that. He has to search for the lightsaber stuff. It's awesome.
Just so we're clear, before anybody cancels Kieran, that came from Jer's Mrs. Jer.
Oh yeah, no, she's awesome.
So
she's hilarious.
There's definitely a relationship there. So there's some tongue in cheek.
Okay.
People
Yeah,
might
like if I just called Justin Smith an asshole, then that would be different because I don't know him.
Do not talk about Justin Smith that way. Yes, it might be one of the most generic names possible, and it could be fake. And his real name probably isn't Justin Smith. But don't you dare go down that road with Justin Smith.
We pretty much do a wrestling segment just for Justin Smith. So, and I've mentioned this many times.
It's true.
We got a super chat in here I know we brought in Jer a little bit early. He was dying.
I was dying. I was laughing and coughing, and then all of a sudden I see myself on the screen. I was watching the YouTube stream. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in. I better go back to streaming whatever this
Someone
is.
pushed him out of Gorilla.
Yeah. Told me I got 2 minutes. Go.
Tommy, quickly here, buddy, on the Star Wars front. I don't know how long you have tonight either, Tommy. We're not going to be going terribly long. Maybe another 45 minutes. But what are you hoping of the finale, man? Don't say an hour and a half episode. It's not going to happen.
Well, just fucking crush all of my hopes and dreams. Holy shit.
Me?
I thought living in the States already did that for you.
I think Tommy's head might have died. Is he still with us?
What?
Oh, no, he's good. Okay. I think I might be having an audio issue over here, guys. Continue, though.
Yeah, audio isn't your only issue.
If you want, I could do a couple more minutes on Hayden while you figure it.
Oh no, we're quite.
Yeah, we've had quite enough.
Yeah.
On there.
Kieran, you're a prick. Caitlin is amazing. There, I earned the $2.
Oh, okay.
I haven't even gotten to that yet.
If you need, I'll put you over later.
All right.
Like, oh, Jared totally defeated me. I'm crying in my sleep.
I really want to see Kenobi. I guess so. We've already kind of seen it. Kenobi bounce back, right? Just get into the zone.
Yeah, it's almost like he needs a coach or something.
But I think we're going to see it in a totally another light with this finale. Like, on one end of things, we may be led to believe that this finale will almost be like a loss for Kenobi.
For those that were paying super close attention during Tommy's breakdown of that, Kieran and I may have just spoiled the ending of Kenobi very, very subtly on screen without anybody noticing. So there was that. Tommy, fight-wise, though, like everybody's talking about, remember, Kathleen Kennedy's own words, rematch of the century, and they've described it as being this fight how does it have to deliver?
Honestly, with 1 hour runtime, I mean, even if it was totally 1 hour runtime, I think we're going to be a little disappointed by this episode because I think there's going to be some pacing issues. But maybe I'll be surprised, right? What does this fight need to look like? It needs to be an actual fight, meaning no Force Ghost projections. Someone needs to get a limb severed.
Well, it can't be Kenobi. I don't think, anyways, unless he has a.
No, I don't think we're actually going to see that part. That's just me talking. It'd be great, though. I mean, that's like a mark of a fight with Kenobi, right?
Quickly, I do want to address this. I just seen it come in. We will get to the super chats in a second. Just this is on topic. That is fake. It is fan made, and yes, an actual Star Wars Lucasfilm account tweeted it out. I'm telling you, I've seen that poster for like 5 years before Obi-Wan Kenobi was even a thing. Just remove the Kenobi logo from it, and it's fan art that's been around for a long time. That said, I do believe they fight somewhere in one of the systems in the Mustafar, or one of the planets in the Mustafar system. So
we can hope.
And a Mustafar Ali.
Even I know what you did there. Yeah, no, well, it'll be curious to see what they do with the fight, man. I can't wait for it. Worried about the runtime. Like everything that Kieran said, I did see this was a huge grain of salt. I seen a Lucasfilm employee tweet out today something along the lines of her favorite moment ever in Star Wars happens in the episode that's about to air. And she basically went on to say that even if you think you know what's going to happen, you probably don't. And it's the best moment ever in Star Wars. But she's a Lucasfilm employee. She can't come out and be like, it's a piece of shit, you know? So
it's a piece of shit.
Thanks, Terrence.
Putting it over.
Tommy's a Fandom Empire employee. He just never stops fucking burying us.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Buries us whenever he can. We'll get some chats out of the way, and then we'll move on to Halloween here, guys. Jerry Ramy, I hope Blum gets Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. Then maybe they can re-up with the Acads, and we can get the ultimate slasher cinematic universe. The idea of that would be really cool if all these characters existed in the same universe. How you get them together, though, outside of like they all get institutionalized or something. I don't know how you do that with Freddy. I don't know how you do it and have it not come off incredibly corny like Freddy versus Jason. And it's a cool thought, Jerry. But I can tell you this: it sounds like there's very little chance the Acads are going back to Universal. But we'll have to wait and see.
I already discussed this on a previous video.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Different channel? Tommy hates
it's a multiverse.
What'd you do?
We're calling it the Michaelverse.
Yeah, fan sub empire.
In this verse, nothing is impossible. You want to see Michael from Rob Zombie 2 go at it with Michael from the Blumhouse videos? You can see videos. Movies, you can see it. You want to see Michael versus Jason? You can see it. You want to see Freddy go at Michael in a dream? Probably can't see it because I wouldn't want to be in Michael's dreams because that's probably a place you're going to get fucked up.
I mean, hot take right here for a second. There's absolutely nothing the MCU is doing right now that excites me at all. Zero. I haven't seen.
That's because you're a fucking hater. That's why.
The new Doctor Strange, but I hear it's going to Disney Plus like in the next week or something, which is nuts already. Oh,
yeah, let's double check that.
So that's cool. I'm going to watch that. And obviously Thor is going to be cool. Although it sounds like Thor is getting the Jurassic Park 3 treatment and is actually fairly short compared to the other Thor movies. Which
Tomorrow, yes.
doesn't surprise me because most of it was shot in the volume, and I still think there's only so much you can do in the volume. But other than that, like, there's no Spider-Man on the horizon, and I don't know. I'm just kind of on the MCU. Maybe the slasher cinematic universe would get me back. Troy Grubb sends in a $5 super chat. Sean, what would you like to see happen next with Halloween, franchise and story-wise? Thanks for the love on the show. My thing would have been you kill. I'm not saying any of this happens, just to be clear. You kill Laurie and Halloween Ends, and you have Hawkins and Allison survive, and you do a movie with the two of them and Michael returning, for the 50th anniversary or something cool like that, where they've almost developed like a grandfather daughter or granddaughter relationship. And no, that's not a spoiler or anything. I'm just saying, for example, that's where I would have went. But instead, I think you're going to get some sort of weird spin on Halloween Returns. So, and I'm not talking about the script that was out there, but a movie that'll feel like Halloween Returns. I don't know. Like, I was set for like a big break after this, and I don't think that's going to happen now.
I know I've already said I just want them to do like a reboot or a soft reboot, or whatever they've already been doing. Always include the first one, but you don't have to. But just like someone new as Loomis and a Loomis Michael relationship is what I want. Less, please no Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm fine with her. I'm just not that I just had enough, had my fill. And then like I would really like him to find a pot of gold and take one of the coins out, and then the leprechaun comes after him.
Oh my god, Leprechaun versus Michael.
Yeah, that's all I need from this next series, is for them to be a leprechaun in it.
Solid actually has a great idea here, in my opinion. I'd like a sequel to Age 4, bring Danielle Harris back. I still don't think it's likely, especially when you consider where Age 4 ends. But it'd be cool.
There is a sequel to Halloween 4. It's amazing. It's Halloween 5.
Sorry, what? What? So Kieran, the thing about Halloween 5 is nobody...
It's a piece of shit!
It's a piece of shit. It's terrible. Hayden Christensen is actually...
It's amazing!
Than Halloween 5 is. That makes no sense, I know. Oh, God.
That's the one with Tommy Jarvis, right?
Oh, the ultimate crossover. Tommy Jarvis versus Michael Myers. Freddy as the special guest referee. Yeah, feel free to keep the chats coming. We'll get to them as we can, ladies and gentlemen. So there seems to be a lot of rumors stirring, and the two big ones come from the mouth of Jason Blum, basically. The one being, it sounds like he believes that he can get Robert Englund back for another Freddy movie. And I'll touch on that in a second. And the other one is, it does sound like Halloween is all but done at Universal, and they might be going to Paramount. Now, whether that happens or not, it's speculation. It's a rumor. You will start to hear more about this. It does them no good to address any of this, like the actual companies themselves, to address any of this publicly before their current movie comes out. They just shoot themselves in the foot. Here's what worries me about Paramount, fellas. Paramount has actually done Halloween movies before. They were Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. So to say that they don't inspire the most confidence in me would be a huge understatement. And then I'm also worried that, like, you're going to have Michael doing his slow, creepy walk in Haddonfield, and then you're going to pan the camera over, and instead of seeing like kids running for their lives, you're going to see Tom Cruise going like this as he runs away from Michael. The ultimate crossover, Tom Cruise versus Michael Myers. I mean, if they go to Paramount, it can happen. A new Mission Impossible movie, kill Michael Myers. I dig it.
I'd be cool with those two fighting out of the side of a plane.
So let's keep the focus on Universal and Paramount right now for a second with Halloween. If it's only going to be one of those two fellas, where do you want to see it go ideally? Universal is Blumhouse. Blumhouse is operated by Universal, owned and operated by Universal. And that would just mean that there's going to be more Blumhouse Halloween movies, not necessarily in the same timeline. Or do you want to see them go to a new company like Paramount, which is spending shit tons of money on their content right now with, I believe they're behind a lot of the Yellowstone stuff too. So they're spending a shit ton. Where do you want to see it go? You know, for me, it's change. Change is good, but at the same time, I can't think of two better slasher movies that have been made. Again, slasher, not all horror, that have been made in the last 20 years than Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. Sometimes more doesn't mean better. Thoughts?
I mean, not only have they put out some great slasher movies, but they've done a lot of interesting things in horror altogether. And they've made a lot of successful movies. So I would, Blumhouse is go there. They it's not going to be, it's not going to be their secondary property or their, thing that they're kind of putting on the back burner. They're probably going to put a lot of attention into it and do their best. And I mean, the only thing I can see that will be a problem is some people will be like, oh, they're going to make it all woke. So, I mean, other than that, and I have no problem with that, I think it's going to be, that's where I'd want it to go, because I feel like if it went to a big company.
Are you saying you want Halloween to stay with Blumhouse?
Yeah, I would like Halloween to stay with Blumhouse. Okay. I would like Halloween to stay with Blumhouse. I would like the other horror properties to go there.
Oh, so you were actually on board with who had that super chat in? Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry had put that out there.
Yeah. I'm it's kind of my opinion a lot of the time. Like I say quite often when we get, well, that just confirms it, that one there, that like Mr. Bizarro himself. Whenever something happens, a company makes good movies.
You're fucking canceled.
Yeah, probably someday. It's probably someday. I know. I whatever. I trust in the company. I build up trust in companies, and same thing. People are like, Halloween ends. This is looking rocky. This might not be good, and it's like, I trust in the company. They brought me good movies, so bring me more good movies. Like, even if you let out a stinker every once in a while, like, as long as you're batting a good batting average, like, cool. Give them the movies. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good with Blumhouse. Taking them all and making a cinematic universe.
I'm always excited to see change, but sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. I know that term gets used with wrestling a lot, but Jared, I don't even know if
the grass is dry,
and
dead
yellow.
On the other side.
Burn.
It's all dead looking.
Jared, that's a term that's used in wrestling a lot. The grass isn't greener on the other side, or always isn't greener on the other side when someone switches companies. You have seen Halloween Kills, though. I don't remember what you thought of that, but did you enjoy it, and would you like to see them do more?
I loved it. Honestly, I think Blumhouse has a good thing going, and if it's not broke, why fix it? So there's risk in going elsewhere. Do you know they'll treat the property the same? Or, it's a whole new bundle, and I don't know that I would put my trust in that. Obviously Halloween is a franchise that is hot right now, that's making money. It's a hot property, so of course they're going to want it, but it's fine where it is. Like, I'm content with what they're putting out right now. And plus, Blumhouse has the really spooky opening credit scene where it's in the dark house, and it's like, Blumhouse. It's like, whoa, So
apparently they got a new logo. I don't know.
Oh man, that's probably even scarier.
Joel says Halloween Maverick. It's coming. Mission Impossible, Top Gun, and Halloween all into one movie. That's how Michael Myers dies. Some friggin' jet. Jerry says, look into a comic run called Halloween Night Dance. It's ideally written to be a standalone. Also, it'd be cool if Vader and Kenobi fight on Naboo. Vader would lose it. Oh, man, I'd love to see Naboo again. Honestly, it's my favorite planet in Star Wars. I think it looks just so incredible. Definitely love it.
I don't think Vader really stands a chance against Obi-Wan tonight because I watched Vader get his ass handed to him by Ken Shamrock in 1997. So it's not going to end well.
Oh, boy. Kudos to those who get the reference. Night Dance, by the way, if anybody go download it online, I didn't just say that because it costs hundreds of dollars to buy, is an incredible run. But boy, would you have to cast people the right way because you're not getting Donald Pleasance back. So I strongly urge, if you're a comic fan and you love Halloween, go find these online somewhere and read the story. It's actually fucking incredible. And I would totally sign up for, like, I don't know, say a Netflix series directed by Mike Flanagan of that series. Yeah, I'd do it. I'd watch it. I'd be over the moon. I'd be saying, forget Blumhouse. Fuck. I'm going to have to see if I can find them now. Fun fact, Ray, who's been on the channel before, that fuck owns all those. He has them all in nice cases and everything.
If I could respond to Justin's comment, Vader versus Kane, loser gets unmasked. They actually wrestled at No Way Out 1998, I believe, and that ended with the legendary promo where Vader was on the floor and he was depressed after losing, and he just goes, "Oh, fat piece of shit." And he just walks away. It's tremendous.
Man.
Was that one word? Was that one word, piece of shit?
I think so, yeah.
The Ford runner.
Yeah, he just wasn't seen again. And
your wrestling knowledge was not impressive to Justin Smith. He's like, I know. That's all.
That's for the other, like,
you're gonna have to dig deeper, Jer. Tell us about Kane before he was Kane fighting Vader in a fucking high school somewhere.
He was Unabomb in Smoky Mountain in '94 with Al Snow.
It was Kane before.
But did he fight Vader at that point?
He did not.
It wouldn't make sense because he'd be in WCW at that point.
Yeah, like,
can we not get into wrestling yet? Actually,
we'll get off of it in just 1 second here. I just wanted to say I never like to speak ill of the dead, but since Jer has gone down this path twice, I had to. I'm sorry.
Just made a mistake.
Oh, that was bad. Vader's amazing, though. I'm a big fan of Vader.
What did I just see?
A 450-pound man falling off a ledge onto his ass.
Just made a mistake.
And just remember, that's not The Rock.
I got a bet on that time.
That's not Stone Cold dressed like Stone Cold there either. If you,
that's Coachman, I think. Yeah,
it's Coachman. He was bringing in a bunch of legendary wrestlers.
Was it to fight Austin? I think.
No, I think they were fighting. Wait, were they fighting like Heath Slater or something dumb like that? I don't know.
Wait, what? Really?
They were fighting someone like remember Sid? Sid came out and fought Slater as well, and he actually looked pretty good, which was weird.
Sid's amazing.
I like Sid quite a bit.
Sid is so good. He showed up in ECW and just wrecked everybody and left. Didn't put
I
anybody
like
over.
Sid quite a bit. I thought he was great at what he did. He wasn't good at promos because he like stuttered.
He didn't need to be.
Can we restart?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You're half the man that he is, and he has half the brain that you do.
But man, you really can't put Sid down. Sid fucking stole the crowd from Shawn Michaels in the middle of Shawn Michaels' run.
Okay, it was New York, but yeah, he absolutely
it doesn't matter. It was Shawn Michaels.
12-year-old Jeremy was very upset by that finish.
And
Sid also was the only guy to shit his pants during a WrestleMania main event.
That was the area. That was the era where people cheered for whoever the fuck you asked them to cheer for. So
Oh yeah, they push Sean to the moon, and then Sid comes up and beats the old
they were
man
like,
with the camera.
what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, we just want Sid to kill everyone.
So let's bring this back for a second. We will get to wrestling here in a few. We want to get Tommy out of here at a decent time.
He's
Here's
dying.
why I don't think, other than it's already being reported by a couple of people, here's why I don't think Halloween is returning to Universal. From the sounds of it, there's already issues behind the scenes. And I brought this up the other day, is Jason Blum is pitching the, we can get Robert Englund back. I don't know how that works because I feel like New Line and WB might have an edge on Nightmare, or maybe they don't. And it's just the estate that has it. I don't know in that regards. I don't know if anybody in the chat can clear that up. I don't know if Dean can clear that up. But I'm telling you, whether it's Robert Englund or someone else, in my opinion, it should be someone else, doing a Nightmare on Elm Street film, there is way more chance for that money or that movie to earn big bucks at the box office than a fourth Halloween movie from Blumhouse. It's not one of these blockbuster franchises. It's going to continue to bring in 150, $200 million every movie. It will continue to progress downwards. And I wouldn't be surprised even not, with the restrictions for Halloween Ends. I think it'll still maybe not do as good as Halloween Kills did.
You know who's been the best Freddy of the last 10, 15 years? This guy.
Rick and Morty guy. I remember you having some thumbnails.
Is that Mr. Poopy Pants or whoever?
No, it's Scary Terry.
Oh.
And not the football guy.
Dean Renner says Malaka Cad will tell Jason Blum to go fuck himself. I mean, not that I'm in position to know. I'm fucking not. But I think that may have already happened.
He sounds like that kind. He sounds like that type of guy with his specific rules and shit.
For sure. So, I definitely think that might have happened. But what do you guys think about Nightmare going to Universal, more specifically Blumhouse? And would you have Robert Englund return? I think it'd be cool to have him in a movie. I do not want him as Freddy Krueger again, because that does nothing to set up any longevity to have 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. You're not getting that many movies out of Robert Englund unless you're going to shoot them all at once over the course of a year, which I can't see happening in horror. But I think it's time to move on. And I'll be honest, I'm not someone who hates Jackie Earle Haley in the remake. So, thoughts, guys? Blumhouse, Nightmare. Is it going to happen? Should it happen? And should Robert Englund come back? I don't mind being that guy that says no, he shouldn't.
I'm pretty much in the same. Like, Robert Englund kind of makes that character, so it's going to be really hard to find someone to do it. You can't get someone to just come in and do the exact same thing, because people will be pissed off that they didn't do it as well, and it's really hard to do something different like Jackie Earle Haley, and people shit on it, even though, I also thought he did a really good job. It just wasn't the same, and it wasn't the same because, just like the Joker or Batman or everyone's like, well, I could do it the way that guy did it, but they already like that, so I have to do it a different way. They're just gonna think I'm a cheap imitation, and then it's really hard. It's hard to live up to those bladed gloves, I guess. Whatever.
It's the hardest of those slasher characters to recast, in my opinion.
Because he talks.
Well, he's an actual character that has, I don't know, he's so different than the other ones, because the other ones you can fill far easier. You put a mask on a guy, make sure he's big, and he walks places. With Freddy, there's the tone of his voice. There's so much to Freddy that isn't in these other characters. And, even if you put Robert Englund in there now, you wouldn't even need any makeup. So...
Mike Bish isn't here, Film Lodge, so I'll say it for him. Your mom. Anyway.
Your mom's a hoe. I don't know.
Yeah, that too. By the way, better get this out there, or I won't hear the end of it. I had the privilege of being on the Take One podcast yesterday. Wow, yesterday. Yeah, that makes sense. Mike Bish had me on, and we talked Halloween. Big shock. And we also dove headfirst into The Shining, though. A real deep dive on that movie, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm supposed to tell y'all to go check out the Take One podcast. I don't know if it's available now or if he's going to have it available tomorrow or Friday. I don't know. I wish I probably should have asked that. But yeah, check it out. Take One podcast with Mike Bish. He does a really good job over there. He's had some Stranger Things alum on there, so that's pretty cool. There it is there. I said, wow, the pictures almost look like good old Jack and I are making eye contact. There's something intimate happening. But anyway, check it out. Take One podcast, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. All right. There you go, Mike. There's your plug. Anything else on Nightmare, guys, before we move on? I'll ask the chat this. Let's we haven't involved the chat enough, I think, with questions. And there is no cinematic showdown tonight, if anybody was wondering. But what would you rather Blumhouse do next? Would you rather Blumhouse do another Halloween movie after Halloween ends? Or would you rather have them take Freddy and Nightmare on Elm Street? We'll see what the chat says. Film Lodge has been in here before and didn't cause shit, but I'm not in the mood to fucking take anybody's shit. So if you're going to be a dick, you're going to get booted. That's simple. Anyways, though, speaking of which, Tommy, you want us to get you out of here, man? We're moving on to some wrestling.
Wrestling.
The guy hasn't said shit in half an hour. Now we're moving to wrestling. You could go.
Man, we
Not
really need
quite
to play
a half
Wrestling
hour.
by Glenn Goza, because that's like the perfect intro song. Because he just sings about wrestling and like how, you know, he doesn't want to go work for that slave driving jerk. I'm going to wrestling. It's fantastic.
Hey, he called me. Hey, that's not true. Tommy talked about 5 minutes ago. More like 7. He reacted to this.
Just made the mistake.
I intend to have some. Oh, you okay, man? Okay, yeah, no problem. I'm gonna remove him just for a second. Hopefully everything is okay with Kieran. In the meantime, though, Tommy, I will get you out of here, man. I don't know if you're doing Kenobi with us tomorrow. Hopefully you are. But if not, then we'll have you on next week for the full series review. Any final thoughts before you depart on anything? Kenobi, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. Halloween ends. Everyone's like, when's the trailer coming? We already said don't expect it with a Black Phone last week, but I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even when it comes, it's going to be shit anyway. So.
And honestly, they said some things in the last 48 hours that makes me believe there isn't even like an actual full trailer ready. So they didn't show a full trailer in Cine Europe today. So or yesterday, I don't remember what day it was.
You're going to get what you get, and you won't get upset. Except you will get upset. Because everyone's always upset. They're never happy with what they get.
Dean Renner says, Exorcist, Exorcist kills, and Exorcist ends. I see what you did there. I dig it.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
Troy, could that be another reason a cat doesn't want Freddy and Michael under the same roof? No, I don't think so, man. I think at the end of the day, like some of it's creative direction for sure, but the almighty dollar wins out at the end. That's how these things typically work. Everything okay, man?
Yeah. I had a bug in my throat. I had to go get something to.
Oh! I thought you heard something.
I had to go get something to drink.
Gotcha.
No, I was trying to make it all the way through the show, and then I was like, "Oh my god!"
Anyway, Tommy, final thoughts, and we'll get you the hell out of here, man.
Kenobi's been a good show. I don't think everybody's going to like what they get tomorrow because, well, some people have been saying that Kenobi's some of the shittiest shit to come out of the Disney era, which I don't understand.
And yet those people hate everything from the Disney era, so...
I think it's
Yeah.
the best storytelling they've done in the Disney era. So
I don't know if I'm ready to say that. I have a lot of attachment to the Mandalorian, right? But overall, it's been great. I wish it wasn't limited to this 6-episode shit. But we get what we get. And we do get upset because that's what we do. We are Star Wars fans. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at TommyB1650. And I am going to bed. Good night, everybody.
take it easy, man. Tommy B, Tommy Bizzle. All right, fellas. So I don't remember everything that's happened since we were last on, but Kieran's been making Jeff Hardy jokes weekly, and I don't think we've had too much of an opportunity to talk about this yet. But let me try to go over everything, and let's see where Jer wants to start. So Jeff Hardy is suspended without pay until he completes treatment, I believe. Vince McMahon seems like he's up shit creek without a paddle, and he still might find a way to get away with shit.
He's still swimming without the paddle.
Well, I had somebody tell me last night that that they don't think that Vince has necessarily done anything all that wrong, and I don't know if I like that. Seems kind of out there.
Vince won't admit guilt. Why would he? I mean, he did the exact same thing when it came to the steroid trial. He tries to court public opinion through his TV show that, hey, nothing is wrong. I'm fine. And it worked before, but I don't know if it's a completely different subject now, and it's a completely different world we live in now. And we've seen bigger people go down for less as far as this goes. And like, there hasn't been much change. The major change so far was that John Laurinaitis was sent home, and he is on absent leave from his position of head of talent relations, and that has now been taken over by Bruce Pritchard. So it's awkward because it feels like, okay, you take out John Laurinaitis, one half of this problem, I guess, and you leave Vince. And everybody and their brother knows that Vince being removed from CEO temporarily is just a farce, that he's still the puppet master, and it's not like Stephanie is going to say no to him for anything. It's obviously still the Vince show. Vince didn't remove himself from creative. He ripped up the script on SmackDown and rewrote the whole thing. He showed up on Raw last night. And both times he's shown up on TV, it's been almost like an ego stroke, because Vince has added nothing of substance to either show. The first time it was like, oh, we're here then, now, forever. Welcome to SmackDown. And he leaves. But the crowd pops when he shows up. And it's like he needs that as this vindication for himself that, hey, I'm still Vince McMahon in my world. Yet the real world is not in his favor. And as of today, there is 5 class action lawsuits that have been filed against WWE for whatever's been going on. You know, whether it's, you know, the changes that have supposedly taken place, the money that, you know, we don't know whether Vince, I hate using this term, but it was referenced, passed her to John Laurinaitis, and she got a pay raise. That involves company money. Whether the stock being sold within the past 3 months, that they've known about this on the board.
Insider trading,
Yeah, so there's a lot of shit swirling around right now, and the product itself is stale as fuck because they're going back to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns again at SummerSlam. Yeah, like we haven't seen that 3 times already this year. So everything is just going downhill for WWE. They had to change the venue for Money in the Bank because they couldn't sell out the Raiders Stadium. And then this Vince bombshell drops, and it's not a good place to be, and it's not good.
It's interesting. Like, I still don't, I feel like WWE as a product, it really doesn't matter. Like, they've shown for so long now that it doesn't matter. You're just gonna have to wait out. Like, they're just gonna have to wait till the people who will watch it no matter what die. Like, and we know that their audience is getting older because we see that happen in the numbers, right? Like they're not doing great among people who are young.
Well, for
they're
NXT,
doing great for people who fucking are 60.
Well, to your point, they changed the whole NXT presentation to make it look hip to young people. They added the colors and all that and the flashy stuff, and the average age of the NXT viewer is 55 and over, even after the change.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
The crazy thing is they had a product that was over with the younger people. So many people were like, I fucking hate Raw and SmackDown. I watch AEW and NXT. Like, so many people, because NXT was still like, they still had that cool thing going, and then they buried that and got rid of every last, smart mark that was left, and they're left with the fucking mouth breathers that are just fucking waiting to die, fucking still watching WrestleMania 50, like it's fucked up. But I mean, and Vince McMahon, to the Vince McMahon point, yeah, Vince McMahon is famous now for not actually being able to exist outside of the WWE world. Like, he doesn't understand that things, like, for a long time now, people have said he doesn't understand pop culture references because he doesn't know anything that happens outside of wrestling. Like, you can't talk to him about non-wrestling stuff. You can't even talk to him about AEW. He still thinks AEW is a nothing. He's like, oh yeah, those guys, I think we're competing against them, but not really. We're fucking crushing them. And like, he doesn't know the wrestlers that are there. He doesn't know, like, he just knows what happens inside the WWE universe, which, like, the idea of calling it the WWE universe, I think, is one of the better things that's happened in recent, is just by calling it that and by having that sort of thing. I thought that was really smart, but
except for every time
Vince McMahon,
it's so cringeworthy.
Vince McMahon exists only in that universe, though. Like, it's crazy. Like, and obviously he's starting to show signs of being old and possibly senile. And I think, this shit's just going to keep going. Like, you can see him out there and understand that he's, he still thinks that WWE's on top. He still thinks that, everything's great, and he doesn't know any difference. And he probably doesn't think he did anything wrong. He probably thinks this is, the 70s and the 80s when you could go around and treat women a certain way and probably never pay for it. And that's not the way it is now. Now you fucking pay for the shit you do. So hopefully he pays.
Well, the same thing in the 80s. There was the first female referee in the WWF in either the late 80s or late 80s. Rita Chatterton. After a show, Vince invited her to his limo to talk about her contract, and the story came out that Vince forced oral sex on her. And nothing happened. It was swept under the rug for years and years and years. And there's been a pattern of this behavior forever because Vince has always surrounded himself with, to quote a certain someone, douchebag yes men. And not to remove any blame from Vince, but I don't think Vince is capable of understanding that what he's doing is wrong. He's so secluded in his world mentally that he's so detached from everyone else in this world that it's just been the norm for him, and he's never been in trouble for it. Yeah, in '94, he was scared that he was going to go to jail, and Jerry Jarrett was going to take over day-to-day operations of the WWF if Vince was found guilty. That's the closest Vince has ever been to paying for any of his actions. Ask him about the World Bodybuilding Federation or the XFL. He'll just brush it off his shoulder. He can't accept that he is not this multimedia billionaire who's branched out into everything else. That's why he coined the term sports entertainment. He didn't want to be known as a wrestling promoter. He hates wrestling. And he sees himself as something other than what he is, which is a successful wrestling promoter. But that's all he's ever been. How'd the WWE movies do? Terrible. They closed the fucking division. So he can't comprehend that anything out of his world exists. Like I told the story last week where Paul Heyman told the story where they were doing a booking meeting, and this Vince is going on this train of thought, and the guy in the booking meeting sneezes, and Vince just shuts down. And Heyman's like, "You okay, Vince?" People can't control their sneezes. Like, what the fuck? That's not any realm of normality here. Well, so for Vince to be in this situation is completely unsurprising if you know his history and the type of character that he is as a shoot. Not like this Mr. McMahon bullshit. Yes, it's an extension of who Vince McMahon is, but Vince feels he's invincible in his world because he's always done what he's done and gotten away with it. So what makes, in his mind, what makes this any different now? Nothing. Except this is now a publicly traded company with multi-million-dollar television deals. It's there's different forces at play outside of Vince now. Is there going to be enough pressure to make that serious of a change? I don't know. They've got Nick Khan and Stephanie waiting. Or does Vince have to die for an actual change to take place?
Quickly here, I just want to address the super chat. Any chance of a Fandom Empire crossover with Drum Dums, Wham, or Dave McRae? Dave's going to be on in the nearish future. It's just scheduling. If you remember, most of the times when Dave would come on, we'd end up doing like an afternoon show, and those aren't too possible at the moment. So Dave's definitely going to be on, though. We've already agreed upon it. Drum Dums and I, the last time we spoke, we actually talked about possibly doing something for Star Wars. He's actually a big Star Wars fan. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And with all due respect to all the Wham fans out there, not a fucking chance. You couldn't pay me to do that. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. I'd say this on the Vince front is I didn't know about the news that you just dropped there. I've been sort of in my own universe today, busy with work. And I got to tell you, like every day, it just seems to be getting worse. And you, Vince McMahon or not, eventually the people paying money to this company, people like Fox, people like, I don't watch WWE, so I don't know what the other network is, people like sponsors, all that shit under a situation like that could get pulled. And if they start losing millions and millions and millions of dollars, WWE can take more than just a flesh wound here. They could get hurt real bad because of this. Public image is everything. Like I think, I don't remember if it was this episode or the last episode, but like people have been canceled for very, very few things. And I think that you just referenced that a little bit there, Jer, is people have done far less than this and gotten axed, basically. And I just there's still part of me though that kind of feels a little sickened that there's still people. I don't know if they're just so like wrestling is their life. I mean, obviously wrestling is a huge part of your life, Jared, but like I couldn't imagine being like this. This is what it compare. This is how I compare it to. Kira, I don't know if you'd feel the same. I know Star Wars isn't your favorite, but it'd be like if George Lucas was coming back to do more Star Wars movies, and then we found out that, oh no, George Lucas did all the shit that Vince is accused of doing, and maybe he also, and it was revealed he had just as shady of a past as Vince says. I'm not going to sit there going, oh, well, he made Star Wars, so, I sure hope he's all right, or I think he can turn a corner at almost 80 years old, and, no, he's going to stay, like, that type of perception. I sorry if anybody in the chat feels that way. I don't understand it, and I perceive it as just being really, really warped and out of touch.
I mean, I like I've said it before. I'm cool with cancel culture. I think there's nobody that I think that's been canceled that didn't deserve it, and that doesn't mean that these people, and I'm sure there are examples, but none come to mind for me. This happens. It's a movement by people. And I think it's important. It doesn't take away from like those things that you love. Like if you find out that Vince McMahon's a piece of shit, then you can't be like, oh, well, I'm never watching a WWE again. You want to cancel him. You want him to go. The other thing is you want these people to get better. Yeah, you do. Like these people who have problems, like I've been super vocal about Johnny Depp, and I think I hate him. I think he's garbage, but I hope that he doesn't, I hope he gets help and doesn't do drugs anymore and, has a peaceful life. I just don't want him to have a movie career anymore. I don't want him to be upset and have a terrible life. I don't want him to have a terrible life and like go to hell and fucking die and whatever. Like I'm just like, cool, I'm not your fan anymore. I hope you have a good life, man. And that's how I feel. Like I'm not like, oh, Vince better fucking die. I'm like, I hope that he realizes what he's done. He tries to fix it. That's probably not going to happen in Vince's, that's probably not going to happen to Vince.
He's like 74. We're a little late on that.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen to Vince. But like, you hope that these people get the help they need, are able to heal the wounds that they've given out as much as possible. When it comes to like sexual assault and stuff like that, you can't really fix that. You can only do your best. But, I'm just really cool with those people not making money anymore when things like that happen. Like
they have enough of it,
Yeah. A lot of times, yeah, it doesn't matter. But I think people who are rich, like Vince McMahon, if he can be rich forever, but like he'll still be pissed if he's not. Like if he's not making any more money, he'll probably be pissed.
I agree with basically all of what you said, except for sometimes if you want change, you got to attempt to force it. And well, Vince may have done this stuff. We don't know for sure, but it certainly seems to be a lot of smoke there. You might have to stop watching the product if they don't remove him, because it may go against everything that you stand for as a person. I'm not saying this happened. In fact,
I was talking more about. Sorry, I just want to correct this before we go on. I'm talking about past things, like I still watch old WWE. I don't watch new WWE anyways. If an Amber Heard movie comes out, I'm gonna be like, yeah, fuck that shit. I don't want to support her. Piece of shit.
I don't think she's gonna be working anytime soon. So they've already she's done in Aquaman. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with
she might be blackballed, but things like that, or whatever. If we've talked about how we both like what's his name, who was in that Baby Driver movie. He's in Seven, and he's in all.
And he's fucking fantastic. And he's a prime example of how, like you just mentioned, that Vince McMahon can't turn it around at age 70 something. And if you go to Return of the Jedi, Hayden's performance as Darth Vader in that movie, when Darth Vader comes back and Anakin comes back and they throw the Emperor off, Hayden is fantastic as a Force Ghost at the end. Academy Award level winning shit. So, anyway, Yeah,
Not my Vader, damn it.
someone is going to pull the rug out here soon. I don't know what Jared thinks. Some TV deal or sponsor, some big money thing is going to be like, we feel like there's enough here to cancel this deal. We're canceling the deal. I do.
The problem with that is, yes, Raw's ratings generally have gone down 40% since January 2020. But in today's TV culture, Raw and SmackDown are still, top 3 in cable and network television every week. They're kicking the shit out of basketball and hockey and whatever sitcoms are still out there. And unfortunately, they are the most wanted thing in television right now, which is live sports. And they've got that in their corner, and unless the ratings take a more significant fall than they are, SmackDown is still doing 2 million a week. The demos are still relatively good.
Let me be clear when I say like a TV deal might happen eventually, or they just won't renew. But I do think like some sponsor that they have.
Oh, absolutely. I'm thinking there's got to be some pushback from some of the sponsors somewhere where it's like, yeah, we can't support this product if this is what is going on in the news. Now, to be fair, this situation is not a lot of times when it comes to wrestling scandals, it is within the wrestling bubble. And what I mean by that is you will find it on wrestling news sites only. The only things to really break through that bubble have been the Chris Benoit story, the Owen Hart story, and the steroid scandal. And everything else is dealt with within the wrestling bubble, and it doesn't leak out. This story was on every major news source within it breaking. And I think that's where the power to change lies. Because people in wrestling already know what and who Vince is. It's something you come to terms with as a wrestling fan. Unfortunately, the guy who promotes this product that we all grew up loving is a complete shithead. And you come to terms with that, and it is what it is. But outside of the wrestling bubble is where the change can happen. And that's what's fascinating about this, because I saw somebody write an article where they said, here is where the wrestling bubble needs to expand and push on these mainstream outlets to follow this story significantly. That's why I was surprised by the class action lawsuit thing, because it's branching out now. It's not going to be this small in-house thing that can be dealt with by, Vince's upper management guys where, oh, hey, we can't, John Laurinaitis and Vince is not the CEO anymore, and we can just brush it off. It's gone. I don't think. See, there you go. I love that picture so much. See, Vince.
This just happened.
This was Raw last night. Vince came out.
So I got a little confused there. He came out again.
Oh yeah, he came out last night on Raw.
Yeah.
And he was like, the guy who has been on Raw for the past 20 years returns next week, John Cena. And then he left. Yet again, adding absolutely fuck all to the program. But he needed that. It's like he's addicted to getting that notoriety, that recognition from the crowd, that he just has to come out and be like, yeah, I've got all this shit going on, but I'm still Vince McMahon, damn it. And the crowd fucking cheers for him, and they're fucking bowing to him, and they're singing his theme song, and it's fucking stupid.
Let's not forget what the product is, though, right?
I mean, that's fair. Lowest common denominator here. But
yeah, I like wrestling, and I like WWE style wrestling, up until like 10 years ago or something like that. There's, I still like it, but it is a bunch of like rah, rah, I'm stronger than you, look how big I am, and like, And then in between that, they'll throw like women who are wearing 10% of clothing, and then go back to like, oh yeah, those other guys on the other card, they're real athletes, but we're fucking huge bodybuilders. Oh, so like, you know, it's not, those are less likely to be people who are like what Vince did is wrong, and probably you know what I mean. Like, yeah, we like wrestling, but we understand that there's a large population of wrestling fans, especially ones who would be fans of WWE, who are probably not gonna they're probably not gonna understand this either.
That would be a fascinating study if Vince were to come out and people were just like chanting, like,
go to jail.
Yeah, like some kind of reference to
What would
this thing
happen?
outside of his universe.
Yeah, really
It
interesting.
I don't know what he would.
I legit think he would be like, "What are you talking about?"
Exactly,
Like-
right? It doesn't occur to him.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a show that he stepped down. We all know
Yeah.
that's. Although apparently, the female wrestlers are happy that John Laurinaitis he's not coming back. Essentially, he's going to take the fall for this. Everybody knew that from day one. The focus is on Vince and whether there's going to be any change. But with Stephanie taking control, for lack of a better term, people seem thrilled by this decision backstage. They love working for Stephanie. So I don't know if that'll help morale, because morale has been in the toilet for years now in that company. And is it slow change that might make a difference? I don't know.
Man, I
mean,
can't
ideally-
wait to hear Sasha Banks promo on AEW when she just fucking throws them under
They
the
still
bus.
can't fucking confirm whether they fired her or not. It's been a week. Jesus Christ.
Gary sends in another $5 super chat. Very generous of you, sir. We really appreciate all the support that you and everybody else have put out there tonight. It means a lot. Yeah, I'm friends with Mike and Jay, but at times their humor is off. Hey, who gives a shit what I think about them, man? I'm not a big fan of The Last Jedi. Kieran loves The Last Jedi. My opinion of it shouldn't change the fact that he loves that movie. Just because I don't like what Wham does and they're not really for me, doesn't mean that you shouldn't or anybody else shouldn't. Like what you like, love what you love. Don't let other people dictate what you should like, love, and or watch. You get to make that decision for yourself.
I read that and questioned who is Jay Butt. But yeah, continue.
I actually thought it was funny. I watched those guys a couple of times at some point just to see, and I really like the one guy, and I really don't like the other guy. So it was like it just didn't work. It didn't equal out. I couldn't even tell you which guy is which because this was like a year ago. Whatever. But
I mean, I just don't get much chance to watch content creators, period, anymore, right?
yeah, I used to watch Dave McRae quite often through the pandemic, and then like I haven't watched the show in like a year.
It's been
I
several.
used to watch it twice a week, probably.
I'll have an earbud in sometimes, and I'll listen to people's shows there. But like most of my focus has been listening to either Star Wars audiobooks or Star Wars just podcasts or Game of Thrones podcasts. Most of the Halloween stuff we get from the people that we get the information from. So
I just listen to fantasy football stuff like all day, every day, just so I can argue with this guy in our league, Zach. Piece of shit.
Quickly here, let's get to a couple of these questions before we get ready to wrap up. Is there any update on Punk at all? Is it still just fall? They're hoping for fall.
Last update I heard was the injury was a little worse than they had expected, but they got everything cleaned up, fixed him up, and not an exact time frame, but they do expect him before the end of the year.
I wonder if he'll look even more like a crackhead when he comes back.
Well, Punk loves to do the whole new look thing whenever he takes time off and comes back. So,
Well, maybe he'll buy some Just for Men.
I'm calling it. He's going heel. There's
Get
no
some damn teeth.
So, Troy says, do you think there will be a bidding war for Nightmare on Elm Street rights if WB/New Line doesn't have them? I don't know that they don't have them because I don't follow that franchise a lot, other than there's been a lot of chatter, and Jason Blum himself came out and mentioned that he thought he could get Robert Englund back. And say what you want about Jason Blum, he's not someone who typically talks out of his ass and doesn't deliver. I'm not saying, bank on it, but it's not the first time I've heard Nightmare connected to Blumhouse and more specifically Universal. And there could also be a crossover deal where they get to do a movie instead of like 2 or 3 movies, and the other studios get recognition as well, similar to what you see with Sony and Disney, the Spider-Man franchise. So,
I have a wrestling question for Jer.
Okay.
What the fuck is happening with Kota Ibushi, and where's he, and when's he coming back?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Is that crazy Japanese mob you're not allowed to say their name? Are they hunting him down, or
no?
Oh, is that the mob that almost cut off Val Venus's penis? Is that where we're going with this? Same mob?
Choppy PP. Okay, so here's what I know. Kota Ibushi injured his shoulder in the G1 final last year. Completely jacked his shoulder out. He's done for months. Come February, they announced the wrestlers for the New Japan Cup. Kota Ibushi is listed in the tournament. And then a week later, he's not listed in the tournament, and it's not really brought up. So late April comes around, and Ibushi starts making these tweets saying that he was contacted by a upper management guy in New Japan, and Ibushi starts tweeting that New Japan knew I wasn't ready for New Japan Cup. They keep promoting me knowing I'm not healthy. My arm is at 40% right now. Basically, fuck this company. And so the company got in touch with him and said, do you want us to release you from your contract? What are you doing? We can fire you. So then Ibushi shares these screenshots of the chat and gets public support in his corner. And then people are starting to feel concerned for Ibushi because he's kind of posting cryptic tweets where you don't really know what's going on. He's exposing upper management in New Japan right now, saying he wants... Well, okay, so the guy that he ended up talking to in upper management got in shit for threatening to release Ibushi from his contract, which didn't end well. And then apparently over Mother's Day, Ibushi's mother was so stressed out over the situation that she attempted suicide. So Ibushi has even more hatred for this company that he blames for just this public image of the company that he doesn't want to be in, or he does want to be in. It's kind of up in the air. And so now he's just focusing on taking care of his mother, was the last I saw where we're at. He's still technically under contract. I don't think he's happy where he's at. I don't know what the future holds. He wasn't announced for G1. I doubt he's 100% anyway.
That's what I saw. And then when I saw that, and the reason I bring this up is because of what Justin says about, do we think Omega will appear at Forbidden Door? I was just like absolutely marveling at the idea that possibly Ibushi could come and wrestle in North America and reunite with Kenny Omega when he comes back and just fucking continue their saga of whatever they want to do with that, because they're both fucking amazing. I know Sean doesn't know who he is, and probably only us and Justin know who he is, possibly a couple other people, but
I'll send Sean a Kenny Omega Kota Ibushi match from DDT 10 years ago, which basically put them both on the map.
Ibushi is my favorite Japanese wrestler by far.
Nice. Right up there with Zack Sabre.
Not even close. Yeah.
So
who's not Japanese? He's just shit.
Well, do you guys think we get Omega at Forbidden Door?
If we do, it'll be an appearance. But even then, I don't know what the purpose would be, because he's not 100% yet. So why put him out there if he can't follow up on anything?
It's funny you mention that, because I'm pretty convinced Punk's going to show up at All Out. So just being in Chicago.
Well, I mean,
If he shows up at All Out, then that would confirm that he can wrestle at Full Gear.
Punk, you think? Yeah.
If they're gonna do it that way, that's probably the best way to do it. Get Punk on at the end of the pay-per-view with whoever the
November
champ is, and then he's good for November.
It's funny because we have opposites here though too, where like Omega needs to be 100% to do his moveset and stuff that he does. Like he needs to be close. Well, 100% like wrestling wise, because wrestlers are never 100%. But you know, I think that Punk can do stuff and work around it, and his stuff is heavily story, and so I think that he can work when he's close to back something, you know.
My dream Punk return would be Kenny Omega wins the interim title at some point, and the night that he wins it, Punk comes back, and we set up for face Kenny versus heel Punk. Not saying the match would be great, but I think they could work a good program.
The match would be great because
that would be fun.
Omega can do, like, you think Omega needs a guy who can do this pace and that pace. Omega can do anything with anyone. He's, you know, like, a lot of people thought that his matches with Moxley wouldn't be as great because they, you know, the style that he works. Like, we already know and have proof that he can work with like a 10-year-old girl. So
it's true.
And an invisible opponent.
And a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
And Kazuchika Okada, which is not like any of the three opponents we just mentioned, but that's okay.
I'm going to rapid fire through a few of these guys. If you want to add in a quick comment, go ahead, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. All righty, as we get ready to wrap things up for the night, let's go on and see what has been said. I put this one up earlier. So when Vince gets removed from the company, can they send him his stuff in a garbage bag? Which one is that in reference to? Is that Mickey James?
Yes, Mickey James, and apparently more than Mickey James. It's been referenced, but yeah, they send the female's gear in a garbage bag.
I'd like them to remove his bio and put it in the Legends section of WWE's website.
Yeah.
Kenny says, aside from you guys, I watch a ton of content creators, but just don't have much time to watch anymore since there's so many shows and films I still watch. Yeah, man, your time's valuable. Spend it how you want. We appreciate the support. I know you've been around since day one, dude, and we really do appreciate you, and I hope all's well, Kenny. Talkville's coming, man, soon. Can't wait for that. I'm going to be listening to every bloody episode of that shit. Can't wait for it. Mudnum? Oh, bloody hell. England could do more than one. Just use stunt double for any hard work or running. This sounds an awful lot like Obi-Wan Kenobi at the moment. I don't know if
we don't need a stunt double. Just throw England off a fucking house.
Coda will return missing fingers. I don't know what that means. And Troy, if Blumhouse gets Nightmare on Elm Street is a sequel to the original, or will it jump off the sequels like Dream Warriors? The common thing these movies do is they go back and tell a sequel to the original. So that's my guess. It makes a lot of sense. And then final question, Justin Smith. So who is Jay White going against? I thought maybe it could be Omega, but you're saying he's not 100% here. So end the show with who you think Jay White goes against.
Okay. So the original plan was, I believe, going to be Okada versus Hangman Adam Page. Now, this changed as Jay White won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship from Okada last week. Because the problem with that was Hangman specifically said he wanted the IWGP title. So then it flips over to Jay White. And then Adam Cole kind of gets into this situation. So now you're unsure, okay, are they going to do a three-way? Well, the last news I heard about Okada is his wife is due to have a baby sometime in the next week. He might be unavailable for Forbidden Door, which also might be why they put the title on Jay White. Maybe. As far as I know, we could be getting either Hangman versus Jay White for the title. We could be getting a three-way with Adam Cole, because Adam Cole and Jay White didn't exactly seem on the same page. I'm not 100% sure what the plan is for that title. I'm really hoping we get some kind of announcement tomorrow night because we're like 5 days out. And we don't know who Hangman, Adam Cole, or Jay White is wrestling.
It you know, a lot of it's been beyond their control, but you know, as just a casual viewer, really kind of seems like Forbidden Door has become another disaster.
Yeah, it's definitely not. When you hear the idea of a New Japan All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view, you get ideas of, hey, Danielson versus Zack Sabre and Eddie Kingston versus Ishii and, you know, Okada versus, you know, whoever, Hangman. So it feels like, oh, hey, we're getting Minoru Suzuki and Shota Umino in a 6-man tag, which is fine. I'm not against it, but it doesn't feel like the best of New Japan are wrestling the best of All Elite Wrestling.
Kind of reminds me of Invasion.
Yeah, it's like thrown together.
I don't think it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but like I think like the expectations were like here and
yeah, but the company's like you're always like, well, what are they going to do? Are they just going to trade off wins? Well, no, both companies want to come up on top. They both want their guys to be shiny. They like, so it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen that way. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you could do. I mean, ideally, what I thought they were going to do was do Tanahashi and Moxley, put the belt on Moxley, and do Okada and Hangman and keep the belt on Okada.
Yeah.
Both the champions win, everybody's happy. And then if you do more interpromotional stuff, just split it down where you want. You know, Danielson over Zack Sabre.
I just don't think it works that way.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they want it to, like,
ideally, yeah. But
it seems really easy, but then I think when you go to, you know, you go to both guys who are running creative and they're both like, that doesn't work for me, brother. And you're like, well, the show's in fucking 5 days.
I know. Yeah.
So.
Oh boy, fuck Hulk Hogan.
Wait. I got one thing I want to like. How fucking good was Road Rager, guys? It's a goddamn awesome Dynamite show.
That was amazing.
I didn't get to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
I just watched it the last couple of days. I ran through it. Fuck. Yeah, it was one of those shows again where I was like, AEW is the shit, man. Like every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm cooling on this, but like. Then I go back and watch a show, and I'm like, this is fucking amazing. So good.
I did see this bit, though. Christian is always better as a heel. Always, in my opinion. So
yeah. He was talking so much shit on the floor to Jungle Boy's sister after they went off the air. He's like looking in the ring like, you raised a piece of shit. And I'm like, yes.
Kenny gets in a quick one before the end here. Since we know Ezra Miller will not be the DCEU Flash anymore, what do you think they will do with his scenes in the Flash movie? Will they either A, reshoot it, or B, scrap it? That is an insane mess, dude. Of like, I don't know if there's ever been a film in history that has had so much money sunk into it that is now in a spot that they might not be able to release the film the way it is.
What are they going to do with Keaton Batman? They fucking they hardcore promoted that.
I think they're going to reshoot the film. I legitimately think they will reshoot probably almost all of this film. I don't know with who, but I don't see how they have a choice. You can't release this movie with Ezra Miller and all the shit that he's got going on. Like, you think the Amber Heard shit's bad. Well, Ezra Miller tops that. So, and
well, he's fucking assaulted several people, right?
Yeah. So say what you want about, you know, Joker 2 being a musical, but at least they have people on that project who have their shit together and know what they're doing. Anyway,
is this the first Flash movie?
I can't think of another one.
Okay, so then they can just do a sequel, Flash 2, better than Ezra.
Oh, boy.
That was good.
It's going to do it for us tonight. Don't forget the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale airs in just over 4 hours' time. Sad that it's over already. Bummed, but it sounds like there's some sort of continuation coming. Jared, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me on Facebook at the Dark Match Drive Facebook page. We just hit 76 members, which is cool. I post dozens and dozens of times a day, all your wrestling news, videos. I'm actually about to post a clip, once I get off here, of Tony Schiavone interviewing Bozo the Clown from an NWA TV show in 1990. So that's fun stuff. There's also a connection to a Google Drive for $10 a month. You get all the wrestling you could ever want in your life. I'm actually working on uploading some Super Studcast podcasts up on that, featuring Ron Fuller talking about Southeastern Championship Wrestling in 1976. So if you're a wrestling history buff, check that out. And you can find me on Twitter at Jamie Virtue. And I am all over that Dark Match Drive Facebook page. Give it a... just join, please. Talk wrestling.
Yeah. Why isn't Justin Smith there? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, what the hell?
He'd fucking take that page over.
Yeah, I'm dropping the link.
You'd eat that shit up, Justin Smith.
I'm dropping the link in there right now. So anyone interested at all, give that a follow right there. And I hope you find everything you could ever want wrestling-wise in that page. God knows I put enough work into it. Please appreciate my work.
Where's the link? I'm not seeing it.
I posted it in the chat, I think.
In the chat?
It's on the YouTube chat. I don't know why it's not showing up.
Interesting.
Well, whatever. Post it fucking everywhere.
Is it? We have the word Karen muted. People were coming in trying to spoil Halloween Kills forever, and it's like, I guess I got to mute that shit.
I remember that.
I guess I should probably mute Corey too. So.
That was fun. Yeah.
Kieran, where can everybody find you, man?
You can find me here. You can find me on I'm on Dark Match Drive.
It's true, he is. He's in the Discord too.
Yeah. And why do you keep... I have no information about the Rick and Morty fan show, Sean. Stop doing that. It's going to come back someday. I don't know when it's coming back.
You have a Facebook page that you run for it, don't you?
Yeah, actually, really, I just started posting on it again.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. I was like, oh, yeah, Kieran's back on Facebook.
I kind of woke it up from its slumber, which is funny because it's got a whole bunch of bots on it now. So, like, people will be like, I like Rick Morty. Have you seen my shirt? It's Rick Morty. You can order it here. So it's just taken over by bots who don't know how to speak English now. So I'll have to try to kick them out.
Yeah, that'll be a task and a half. You can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. Join today because that's the way you can follow us on social media at Fandom Empire now, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We basically never use Instagram though. So, anybody else have anything else, or is that be good?
I got sleep coming up.
There's a really fun show in Oshawa the other night with Dalton Castle where
I'm so pissed I missed that. I miss all these things. You gotta message me like the day of.
I promise I will next time for the next show.
I want to I intend to bring my son to these things because he'll love them.
He would
have. But I'm thinking about it all the way until the week of, and then I just get your pictures of like, we had a great time, and I'm like, fuck.
I got to reconnect with my friend RJ City, so I was very happy. I have not seen him in years.
That was pretty cool.
Just a great
book
guy.
Danhausen, goddammit.
We're working on it.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Yeah, definitely let us know that. Jay definitely wants to go.
Absolutely.
She screenshotted your post and messaged me at work. Stay on that.
He's the best thing in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyways, that's gonna do it for the Fandom Empire show tonight. Appreciate Tommy for coming out earlier. Big thanks to those that can't be here tonight, but just their ongoing efforts. Mike Bish. And who else is on this fucking thing? Johnny.
I mean, Johnny, I don't know if he does any hard work, but...
And a message from our friends. Good night, everybody.
You guys remember when Aaron Rodgers used to be a fucking cowboy? He used to have a fucking mustache. He's a badass. What the fuck is he now? Some fucking Big Lebowski fucking piece of shit? Keanu Reeves, Matthew McConaughey, sushi avocado eating hippie? What the fuck?
you.